I saw that my dad had shifted everything he was doing in real estate and investing all into assisted living. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are you hanging out with old people all day?
What changed once he hired you?
I was worthy of doing this. And I didn't necessarily have background or skills. You can go to school all day. That doesn't teach you anything about actual business. Yeah. We didn't have social media. We didn't have marketing. We didn't have a sales team. So I became every single one of those. Not even just learned it, but built it.
You know, when you deal with students, how do you approach this kind of thing where some don't take it, where you know others have taken it to a crazy amount?
It's like losing weight. We all know how to lose weight. Eat less, move more. But 50% of the country's obese because it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you do. You have to be the one to do the work. That I can give every system in the world and you can still fail.
Hey guys, we realize a lot of you are coming to the page and enjoying the content, but we see a lot of you still aren't subscribed. And so if you could click that subscribe button, it'll help our channel grow and give you more episodes with a lot of amazing individuals. Welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset. And listen, today's guest came all the way from out of state just to talk to us about probably a lot of different things mixed together, but I'm gonna let her tell you a little bit more about herself. Welcome, Isabelle.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So for the people who don't know what you are, I don't really like telling them, you know, what do you do? Because we do a lot of things. Yeah. At this stage of our life, in entrepreneurship especially, like you do a lot of things.
Yes.
And so what are you most known for?
Yeah, what I'm most known for is owning and operating residential assisted living homes for seniors and showing others how to get in that space. I've got a coaching business that I've been running for the last 11 years where I show real estate investors how to get into the RAL space.
Okay, wow. Okay, that's definitely different.
Yes.
So I feel like every time I bring a real estate person on here, it's a different version of real estate.
Which is the fun part about it. There's so many different ways you can take this.
Absolutely. Okay. So before we jump into that, I want to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we want to get to find out, you know, who Isabelle really is.
Yeah.
And so where are you from originally?
Upstate New York originally.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I'm from New York too.
There you go. Yeah. Saratoga area.
Okay, I'm from Brooklyn.
A little different, but that's okay. Yeah, so we moved to Arizona when I was younger. My dad had been an entrepreneur my entire life, usually in real estate, coaching, investing, all sorts of different things. So I kind of grew up with that rich dad mindset, not always in wealth, right? But in mindset. And I think that really set me up for so much success because he was never about go to school, get a job, do all these traditional things. He was very much about who are you? What are your skills? How can you help the world be a better place?
Powerful.
And it completely changed the way my siblings and I think. All of us, you know, are business owners and entrepreneurs.
How many siblings do you have?
There's 4 of us total.
Okay. How many brothers? How many sisters?
An older sister, 2 younger brothers.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're like right in the middle.
I'm right in the middle, 2 of 4.
Got it. Okay.
So once we were older, you know, we'd been exposed to entrepreneurship and real estate, but it was kind of like, well, how do you know what you want to do? When you're young, you might have that mindset and it's like, okay, that's great, but what am I here for? What do I want to do? You don't know that. You know, when we throw kids into school at 18, they're making decisions that they really should not be making yet.
100%. 100%.
So, you know, I saw that my dad had shifted everything he was doing in real estate and investing all into assisted living. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are you hanging out with old people all day? Like, this is so weird. This is so not you. What's going on? And he's like, just come with me. And I would go with him to the homes. And I was like, oh my goodness. Obviously, I saw dollar signs everywhere, but also I saw the impact he was having and that this is not what we think of when we think of assisted living. We think of those big like commercial buildings.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, see? And this is not it. It's a residential home that has like, in Arizona, we're limited to 10. So we have 10 residents in the home, but across the states, it's anywhere from 6 to 16.
Okay.
So it's a large luxury upscale home, but it's a home. And the seniors are living there. They're getting quality care and food and attention, not like what they're getting in a big facility. Where they're getting left alone for hours on end. And, you know, it's actually horrible in comparison to what we're able to offer. So I saw that he was able to utilize real estate in a way that does not cash flow like regular real estate does, but he was making a big impact. And it was like, okay, I want to get involved. How do I get involved? So I was a flight attendant at the time. And I asked him, I was like, can I come be your assistant on my off days? He's like, I don't need an assistant. I'm like, just let me be your assistant. You need me, right? So I just sneak into his office and do little things, listen to his phone call, take notes, or, schedule things for him, organize things. And eventually he was like, okay, like I could see this becoming something. And ended up being his first hire.
Oh, wow.
And there was only 2 of us. Now there's a team of 50 and I'm the CEO of the company.
Wow.
So, and it was one business. Now it's 8 businesses. Like it's grown like crazy. So
all assisted living,
all surrounding assisted living.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're enjoying this episode, feel free to grab a copy of my book, Living Legacy, at RAL101.com. You can dive into the story of residential assisted living, how I got to where I am today. Don't miss it. RAL101.com.
No,
Yes.
that's major. Okay. So, before I even go there, because that's a lot in itself.
Yes.
How long did you spend in New York before you went to Arizona?
I moved when I was 6. So little.
Okay. So very little time.
Yeah.
So growing up in Arizona, because New York has a certain hustle to it and, flow of life.
Yes.
Versus Arizona. The only time I've been to Arizona was Lake Havasu.
Okay.
And it was one of the best times of my life. I was younger and it was a good time.
Yes.
It was a good time. But, what's the life like in Arizona?
We are a party state. If you had a good time there, yes, you'll know everyone who goes to Scottsdale comes to party, right? But it's a lot of golf. It's a lot of resorts. It's a lot of real estate investors. There's still a little hustle culture, but it's a party culture, if you ask me. So it was very different. But both my parents are from New York, 7 siblings each, and they would take us back there, multiple times per year. And I feel like they raised us like East Coasters. But in New York. So all my friends would be like, why do you talk so fast? Why do you move so fast? Why are you getting 5,000 things done when I'm barely doing one?
Yeah.
So even though I understand Arizona and the West Coast culture, we were raised very East Coast on the West Coast.
Fair. No, that's a good perspective because it's your parents raising you. So
they have a lot more, they have a lot of impact, on how
Okay.
things are done. So we're all like, me and all my siblings are all very like, get it done, fast paced, no excuses,
Got it. And so your siblings also are with the assisted living business?
Yep. Now they all work with us. Wow. We pulled them all from their other careers. So now it's a family business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's major. So when you're going through high school, you seeing your dad be this entrepreneur, high school and even going into college. Did you go to college?
I did. Only because I had a full ride. Like my dad was like, do not go, do not go, do not go. And I'm like, but it's free.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, fine, you can go. Like, but he was like, go to Europe. He's like, go to Europe, go travel the world. He's like, you will learn so much more. You'll meet so many more people. You'll make more money by going and learning what is out in the world than you will sitting 4 years with kids your age who just want to party. He's like, don't do it. So, I didn't listen to his advice and I went, but that's okay. I had a great time and I did make good connections, but I'm not using anything that
So what'd you go for?
I have 2 degrees, communication and family and human development.
Okay.
Yeah. I did 2 majors, 2 minors in my 4 years, took summer school every year, worked 3 jobs, was in sorority, all this stuff. Cause I just can't sit still. I'm not like that.
Fair. Always active, always moving, it's different when you're that way as a business owner because like other people, like it's hard to explain. Like you'll want to do those 5,000 things.
Yeah.
And you'll low-key start to get upset at some people who are only doing 1 or 2 things. And it's just like, look, I understand. I'm not trying to rush you.
Yeah.
But you do have to go faster.
Yes.
So now after you finish college and you get these degrees, do you try a job or do you go straight into entrepreneurship?
So I actually moved to Miami and I was doing Teach for America. I got selected for that and I was like, oh, this will be awesome. I really just wanted an excuse to move to Miami.
Fair.
So they pay for all your college debt and everything like this. And I was like, this is awesome. And Teach for America is a program where they take people who are not education degrees, put them into inner city schools where you're teaching the kids for 2 years. And then they want you to basically leave with that experience, that mindset, and go out and advocate for them politically and with within the state and the justice system. So I was like, well, I just want to move to Miami and I love kids. So this is great. I did not really understand all the gravity of what Teach for America is. So I did it for like 3 months and I was like, I cannot do this. This is a lot. This is a lot. So my friend was a flight attendant. He's like, you need to apply for this. And that's also like a rigorous thing. And I happened to get accepted for that, then moved to DC and I was a flight attendant for a couple years until I started working with my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now just going back a little bit, you know, what was your mom an entrepreneur too?
I would say that she has helped my dad through all of his businesses because, you know, he traveled most of our life. Like he was out maybe 5 or 7 days a week on the road in other cities traveling and working. And so she had to hold down everything with 4 kids, household, you know, do it all. So she was his support. She's the reason he could be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. You definitely need that. And so, you know, him traveling, that's with the assisted living business?
No, because that didn't start till later, but he was coaching and teaching on other forms of real estate investing. So he was always kind of in the real estate and investing world.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so from his perspective, you know, what are some core real estate principles he taught you early?
You know, he always said, oh my God, I can't even say it now. Here we go. Let's back it up. All right. Date the rate, marry the house.
Date the rate, marry the house.
Yes. People get super caught up in the rates are high. The rates are high. I shouldn't be investing right now. The rates are going to go up and they're going to go down. You need to marry the house. You need to like the house and be committed to the house because you can refi later when the rates are low. So he always taught us that young and was like, don't worry about that. Number 2, location is everything, right? You can't invest in real estate without, you know, really understanding location. And that can mean different things depending on what type of, you know, real estate you're trying to invest in. And then 3rd, and I thought this was interesting, for your personal residence, he always said, you're never going to pay that full mortgage. You're not going to live there for 30 years or 50 years or whatever it is. Plan on living somewhere for 5 to 7 years. And if you can commit to 5 to 7 years, that's all you need to worry about. Either you'll sell it and buy another one or you'll hold it and buy another one, but you are not going to sit there for 30 years, which sounds crazy because other people do that. They buy a house and sit
just stay there.
And they just stay there the rest of their life. They're like, this is my house. We literally moved houses maybe every 3 years.
Wow.
So I grew up thinking that's normal. Like, this is what you do. You upgrade, or downgrade, depending on how life's going. Being an entrepreneur's kid, 100%. It's up and down.
No, that's major. Okay. So with the kind of real estate he did, you know, what category would he be considered in?
In the beginning, it was everything from wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold. He was doing Section 8 housing, multifamily, literally everything that you can touch in real estate, and then sold all of that and went all in on RAL. So,
wow.
Yeah.
The last real estate guy that I had come on here, his name is Lee Patterson.
Okay.
And he blew my mind with, I don't even know. There's a specific word for it, but basically he rented out houses to college kids in college towns.
Student housing.
Yeah, student housing. And he got paid by the door.
Okay. So what I do is very similar, but I bet you better cash flow than him.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
He was talking to us about some good cash flow. Okay. So now I'm really interested in this. And so, okay. And so what made him make that shift to
student housing for my dad?
Yeah.
You know, actually my grandmother, she fell and she broke her hip and she was in upstate New York, and you get that phone call and it's like, hey, she can't go home alone anymore. Like she needs 24/7 care. Who's coming to pick her up? And it's kind of like, what do you mean?
Yeah, we're
like
in Arizona.
What?
Yeah.
So in that moment, you really have 3 choices. It's like, who's going to quit their job and go take care of grandma full time?
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, not everyone is cut out to be a caregiver, right? No. Not everyone has the time and capacity and energy to be a full-time caregiver. So that's not always an option. 2, you could say, okay, I'll pay for in-home care, which is insanely expensive. Most Americans cannot afford that. Or 3, you're like, I guess we have to put mom into a home.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, I promised I wouldn't. I said I'd never. Like, this is so wrong. And so that was the exact situation we were facing.
Wow.
We went back to upstate New York, toured every single place we could find. They all stunk. The food was terrible.
Wow.
They were expensive and had wait lists. Like, I didn't want to leave my goldfish, let alone my grandma, right? Like, disgusting.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, like Arizona's got way more old people. Let's go back to Arizona. Let's see if we could find something better for her. There has to be more options. So we started hunting and we kind of stumbled into residential assisted living. And then my dad did quick math and he's like, wait. We're going to pay $5,000 a month for her to live in one of these homes when we could own it. We could cash flow $10,000 a month and she could live for free. Let's buy this. So he bought his first one with the intent to move my grandmother in. So it was really a family need.
Wow.
How and why we got in.
Wow. No, that's amazing. Okay. So that sparked the whole everything for everything. So now what is something like that start? Like, how do you really develop it? Because you need outer parties other than just the real estate, right? You need the caretakers, you need food plans, you need insurance, I'm sure, all of that kind of stuff. So walk us through that process.
Yeah, so there's still a lot involved. So you're buying the real estate and renovating it to become suitable for assisted living.
Okay.
Because like I said, in Arizona, you can have 10 residents in a home. Here in Florida, you can have 12.
And so how big are the houses usually?
Think like 300 to 500 square feet per resident.
Got it.
So with 10, minimum 3,000 square feet, upwards of 5,000 is pretty comfortable.
Okay.
So you're not going to find a 1010 on the market.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're probably going to find something that's maybe 5,000 square feet, but it's a 6.5. Okay, great. We'll buy that. And then we renovate it to become as close to a 1010 as we can.
Got it.
So that's the real estate side of it. It doesn't need to be ADA compliant. You want it as close to that as possible, but it doesn't need to be that. But ramps, guardrails, handrails, just things to keep the seniors safe, right? Typically single levels preferred. If you do multi-level, you got to add an elevator and it just gets more complicated. So that's the real estate side. You're getting a license through the state to basically say, hey, you're allowed to have X amount of residents in this home. It's a licensed care home. It's still in a neighborhood. Next door is mom, dad, 2 kids and a dog, right? Cannot tell the difference between their home, our home. There's no sign. There's no anything, right? It's just a regular home. Now, the business side of it, that's where you're hiring the licensed administrator. In the real estate world, it's kind of like a property manager, right? So that's someone who's kind of running all the day-to-day in the home. They're doing your hiring, firing, training, onboarding of your caregivers, and they're doing your marketing and your outreach. So the residents and their families come in and tour and commit to staying at your home. So they really run all the day-to-day, and they are licensed. And then they're hiring the licensed caregivers who do the caring, the cooking, the cleaning, and everything day to day.
And they stay there with them 24/7?
They don't live there. They switch. They do shift work. Yep. So like 8, 10, or 12-hour shifts. But what we recommend is a 4-to-1 or 5-to-1 ratio, which is significantly better than a big facility where it's a 30-to-1 ratio, 30 seniors to 1 caregiver. And if you're paying the same, like, obviously you're going to want our option. So it becomes kind of a no-brainer to families once they realize that this is available and potentially in their market, maybe even in a neighborhood that they already grew up in. It's really kind of an easy sell because it's what everybody wants, to stay at home, get quality care. We all want one-on-one, but because many can't afford it, this is kind of that shared care model.
Yeah, got it. And so do you have to make areas that are, conducive to activities?
You do want, so you still want like a living room, a dining room, kitchen, a library. Like, these are luxury homes. So some of them have salons, movie theaters, you name it. Like, they're nice homes.
Okay. They're living good.
They're living good. Because you got to think, when they walk into the Brookdale or the Sunrise, they have all those things.
They have those things.
They've got the Zumba and the pickleball and the this and that. Mind you, grandma's shuffling into the door. She's not playing pickleball, right? But it's the daughter, Judy, the son, Bob. It's the adult child who goes, oh, Mom's going to love this. Okay, Mom hasn't danced in 30 years. She's not taking Zumba, you know? So it gives them the things that they want and that they need, but not all the extras that really you're paying and they're not going to use anyways.
Got it. Okay. No, that's major. And so you said it's $5,000?
Yeah. So a national average, actually, that when my grandmother needed care, when we got into this, it was 15 years ago. So 5 was like nicer back then, but
it's
now,
more now.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's gone up 87% over the last 20 years. And because the baby boomer market's coming in, 76 million people coming into this market in the next 5 years, the eldest of the baby boomers will come into the market. So we're still 5 years out from a 20-year run. We are currently right now today 1.3 million beds short.
Wow.
So this is a huge supply and demand issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like we do not have enough beds and we have a massive amount of demand and it's only rising and rising. So I share this because I'm in this industry myself, but also if everyone I talk to on planet Earth got in and opened 3 homes, we still wouldn't have enough.
Wow.
Like there's just not enough beds. So it's really an opportunity for all of us to say, if I just got one home for my senior loved ones, for my community, for myself, not only can I cash flow, have appreciating asset, but also have a solution for when anyone in my tribe needs that. It's really like something that I think it's kind of like a retirement plan. It's a backup plan. Everyone should just have at least one.
Interesting. And so, that made me think of something, and I don't know how legal or possible this is, but what if you have like a big property and you build multiple houses on the property and then you house people? Would it still be limited to 10 since it's one property?
So depending on how it's zoned, if you have a large enough lot, it could be zoned that you can have 3 residential properties on it. So then you're fine. You could have 10, 10, and 10. So now you've got 30 in one like cul-de-sac or something like that. So some of our students do that. They custom build, they buy land and they build multiple properties next to each other.
Okay.
And they're going crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to answer your question, right now, average cost in our country today is $5,900 per month per person to live in a care home. So let's call it $6,000, right? This is not our friends on government funding. Okay. This is $6,000 is that average between the government funding and the private pay. I only focus on the private pay sector. So most of my homes are $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month. And most of my students who do this across the country, that's the rates they're getting. And people are not batting an eye to pay this.
Really? So, I mean, that sounds, kind of crazy to me because like $6,000.
Yep.
And people are doing this through insurance.
No, private pay. I mean, 10% of the population has long-term care insurance. So if you have it, you can use that to pay for your care, but most people don't. So most of the time, you got to remember the boomer population is 20% of our population. They hold 50% of our wealth.
Yeah.
They also hold most of the real estate.
Wow.
And when they bought that real estate, it might have been $50,000 and now it's worth 500. They sell that. That's their money to pay for assisted living.
Wow.
So people think, oh, the boomers' money, it's going to go to Gen X or millennials. No, it's not. It's taking a nice pit stop in assisted living.
And it's going to themselves. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. So what's the average age range that usually starts to come into these living facilities?
Yeah, the typically it's 85 and older, 70% female, right? Females live longer typically, so that's often what we're seeing, but it's usually just an elder female. And they are moving in because they need help with 3 to 5 activities of daily living. So they're not moving in for fun. This isn't Golden Girls, right? They need help getting out of a chair, bathing, toileting, taking medication or eating, brushing their hair, brushing their teeth. That's what they need support with. 3 to 5 ADLs are why someone moves in. So they need that support. They can't live at home, alone anymore.
Got it. Okay. So now after you charge these amounts up to 10 people per house, I'm just doing the math in my head.
Yep.
That's
So let's say it's that $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
10 residents times 6,000, that's 60,000 coming in gross. Okay.
Yeah.
You're not keeping all that.
Of course.
You got your debt service and a home that's going to house 10 people. It's going to cost a pretty penny.
Yeah.
So let's just say it's $10,000 a month. That'll get us $1 million-ish house in most markets.
Easy.
Okay. So $10K for the mortgage. To run the business, it costs a lot because you got to pay caregivers, food, electricity, cable, activities, liability, all these different things. Let's call it $40,000 a month.
Okay.
But that leaves that one door for you, the owner operator, $10,000 a month or $120K a year on one door.
Wow.
You're not living in the home. You're not working in the home. I spend 5 hours a week on my properties. I visit them maybe once a quarter. Like, you do not have to be hands-on in them. And that's pretty good.
Okay. So now, because you mentioned you started off as the assistant.
Yes.
You made your way in there.
Yep.
And then he hired you.
Yes.
What changed once he hired you?
I think I got a lot more ownership in my mind of like, I didn't want nepotism to be anything that was ever brought to the table of like, why'd you hire her? You just hired her because of this. I didn't ever want him to tell people I was his daughter.
Really?
I really wanted it to be like, let me make a name for myself. And let me prove to people that I'm awesome and I can do this and I'm good at what I do. And so I worked, I think, harder than anyone could because I really just wanted to prove that I was worthy of doing this. And I didn't necessarily have background or skills. You can go to school all day. That doesn't teach you anything about actual business.
Yeah.
So it was learning everything on the fly. And because I was the first hire, we didn't have social media. We didn't have marketing. We didn't have a sales team. So I became every single one of those. I'm carrying around a second phone for years, answering 24/7, like literally all day, all night, teaching myself, watching sales videos, teaching myself, how do I close deals? How do I do this? Making all of our social accounts and coming up with, okay, we need to do this for content.
Yeah.
Booking him on things. Like I literally learned every single facet of the business and not even just learned it, but built it because he didn't even have it yet. And so that gave me so much confidence to then hire people to do these roles because I created the role. So now I can show you exactly what I want, what I don't want, what I like. And so I built all the systems around it. And we really became that perfect visionary integrator partnership where he could come and just say, here's my idea, here's my thing that's going on.
And you execute.
And I could just, okay, boom, boom, boom. This is the cost, the timeline, who it's going to, involve, and bring it back to him and say, are you sure you want to do this? And then he could be like, yes or no, So we really had a beautiful partnership in that way.
No, that's amazing. And what would you say was the time that it took you to really get to that level of comfortability, understanding all this stuff?
I think, to be honest, my dad passed suddenly in 2021 and we had been working together for quite some time up until then. But I think I was grinding so hard and my head was down so much in everything we were doing that I did not realize how much I had accomplished and what we had done. And when he passed, he was really the face of the business. So it's kind of like, what do you do when your face is no longer there?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to lead this? And one of my business mentors and coaches, he was kind of like, it's you. And I was like, what do you mean it's me? Like, no, it's not. And I had so much imposter syndrome and self-doubt. And he just brought me back to day one. And he's like, who did this? Who did this? Who showed this? Who, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I guess I have learned a lot over these years. I've literally built this company and let him sit in the face box, in the, you're the one running this box, but really it's me, chicken with my head cut off, doing everything. He's like, you are the one. And I'm like, wow. Okay. So I'm like, I guess there's only one position left in the company I haven't done. And it's speaking and it's sharing. And I used to hate that. He had been a public speaker most of his life. He'd try to bring me up on stage and I'd be like, no, I don't want to do it. So I got a speaking coach and, we run events every 8 weeks. So he passed and it was kind of like, hey, showtime. Like 7 weeks later, you got to memorize 3 days worth of content. Wow. You got to be prepared to do all of this. And it was just like, oh my gosh, are they going to like me? Like, am I going to be okay? That first event that we held, those events typically in the past were bringing in like maybe 500 to 600,000 because we offer coaching services. Yeah.
And you're teaching them how to start their own.
Exactly.
Correct.
We show people step by step how to do that. And then we coach and mentor them after the fact if they like that. So that first event that I spoke, no one knew it was my first one besides my team. They're all holding their breath like, oh my God, is she going to fuck it up for the rest of us? Right. And like I go and do this first one. We sold $1 million in that first event.
Yes.
I know. I was like, oh my God. But to me, it just, I really feel like everything lined up in life to go this direction. If someone would have told me that this is what I would be doing, I would have never believed it. And I really feel like things happen in life for a reason. And clearly this is the path that I was supposed to be on. Now I find so much joy in speaking. I love sharing this topic with people because it opens their mind to something different and new and unique. And I've been able to make so many people become financially free by opening one of these homes, two of these homes. We have students with 28 homes.
Wow.
Like, and 10K is kind of the low end on this. So most of my students are making 20, 30, or 40 on one door.
Yeah, a month.
A month.
Yeah.
A month taking home. Like, I was literally in New Orleans 2 days ago with one of our students. He's 30 years old. He's got 2 homes out in Wisconsin. He's cash flowing 40K a month. And he's like, I'm like, so when are you going to open your next one? He's like, no, I'm retired now. Like, I golf every day. I do this, I do that. I'm like, what? So to be able to work with people and have their whole life change, it's like, oh, this is what I'm on earth for. It's yes, I love running around behind the scenes and building businesses, and I can do that, but I can also do this, and this helps me help others. And if I just hid my whole life behind the scenes, I wouldn't be changing their lives, you know?
100%. So at what point did your siblings join you?
Yeah. So my older of the 2 brothers, he actually was a realtor. And so my dad was like, hey, you should really learn this because then you can show people how to buy and sell these. And so he started his own kind of branch of doing that, probably year 5 of us being in business. So a while back now, and now he has his whole own business that he does. He totally separated from us, but that's fine. I'm really proud of him for everything he has going on. My sister, my older sister, she was a first grade teacher, and we were like, when are you going to come? When are you going to come? And she finally came over, I would say in 2020, maybe. And so she's our CFO now. She's become a licensed CFP, and she's just an absolute rock star running all the numbers and doing everything for us. And my youngest brother, he was going to school to be an orthodontist. And months before my dad had passed, he was like, actually, I think I should join the family business. And so he got to work with him just for a little bit. So that's kind of beautiful. So now my sister and my youngest brother and I are all still working together.
Wow. So, I like to create moments that you can always remember, or you can always share. And so if you could talk to your dad right now, what would you want him to know? Or how would you want to have a conversation with him?
I think that I would want him to know that we are working so hard to keep his legacy alive, and that we're really grateful for all the hard work he put in, because I'm sure there's a million days when he was alone on this entrepreneur journey that he was like, I don't know if I can. And I've got 4 kids sitting here, and what happens if? And he kept pushing and kept going. And there were, like I've said, many times in this, there were highs and lows. And on those low days, I'm sure he was tempted to go get a 9-to-5 or go do something different or just go get a steady paycheck. But he didn't. He kept his vision. He kept strong, and he kept pushing. And I would want to thank him for that, because that showed all of us that in times of highs and lows, you have to keep pushing. There's no other answer besides to keep pushing, because you never know. It might not be for you. It might not be for your benefit. Him working was actually for us to have this empire to carry on. And that I'm super grateful for.
Wow. Absolutely. Okay. So now I want to go towards the other side of business that people don't talk about as often.
Let's get into it.
What are some of the downsides of a business like this, especially first starting off?
Yeah. When it comes to assisted living, it can be capital intensive, right? So if you're buying a home and renovating it and starting a business, these are nice luxury homes. So it might be $1 million to $2 million that you're getting into this. It doesn't have to be your own money, but sometimes breaking out of your mindset that I can't afford that. How can I do this? Oh my God, I'm going to take out a loan. That's like, people can't get over their own mindset about money. So I think that's huge. The financing piece up front is really difficult. It's not difficult to raise the money. It's difficult to get over yourself. For real. Like, it is crazy how many grown adults I work with who are just like, but what if? And I'm like, yeah. But what if you don't do this? What happens to your life if you don't change anything and you don't take a risk? Like, the only good things are on the opposite side of you jumping in and taking a risk.
Yeah, my degree is psychology, so I hear exactly what you're saying.
Yes. This is a good podcast for you then. There you go. Getting in the mindset of it. I love it. I think once you're up and running, the hardest part of this business, no doubt, is staffing. Caregiving is a tough gig and you're not paid a lot. And so really these caregivers, they get overworked, used and abused. And so when they come into your home, to me, it is so important that you love on them, you respect them, you appreciate them, you say thank you, you're kind to them, because if you're not going to be hands-on in your business, someone is. And it's them. And if you want them to be the face and hopefully a happy face, you got to treat them well. Absolutely. So staffing is like one of my biggest things I harp on, because caregivers need more respect, more love, more pay, more everything. When you're cash flowing that well, you can afford to pay them more.
100%.
And I think that gives you an opportunity to give back. We've had caregivers who call out, they say, hey, my tire just blew when I'm on the highway. And I'll be like, great, where are you at? I'll go meet them. And I'll be like, you take this Uber back to the house, I'm going to go take your car and get them new tires. Wow. You think the owner of a Brookdale would ever do that?
Absolutely not.
Never. But because those $400 tires mean everything to them, that might be a week's worth of pay. They're nothing to me. I can do that. I can afford to do that. Now, not all owners are like that, but people who we teach, we're like, oh, you better be like that. If you want this business to last, you want your staff to be loyal, and you don't want to deal with retention issues, then you got to be the leader in this business and respect them and give them love. And money is a version of love. People love to be loved with money.
No, absolutely. So do you offer things like 401ks, like?
Benefits are not very popular in the caregiving industry. A lot of care homes do not offer benefits. So when all the other homes don't, if you're in a market like that, then you definitely can, and that can be beneficial to them. But some caregivers don't even care about that.
Wow.
It's literally the small things like, one of my students, he said, I'm having an issue with caregivers stealing. And I said, call a team meeting and tell them, if you need something, come to me. Come to me. I don't want you stealing from me. We're not going to steal in this house. Come to me. So he did that. And one of his caregivers came and said, I would really want to see that Mac you're working on. I really want that. He said, okay. He bought him a Mac. Wow. He's like, first of all, it's a business write-off for me.
Yeah.
Second of all, that caregiver's now been with him for 4 years.
Wow.
It's like the smallest things. Like, yes, it's going to cost you, but I think that sometimes it's not always the benefit. Sometimes it's the silly things that they want or need. It's
100%.
It's the tires. It's the Mac. It's the, hey, I can't afford groceries this month. And it's, here you go. Here's grocery
I feel
money.
like there's a dynamic between there's a stigma between W-2 and W-9 where, if you go on SBA.gov as of 2023, and I think they released the 2024 numbers now, but the average individual in America is only making $42,000 a year.
Yeah.
And so when you tell people that you have the threshold to do $40K a month, $50K a month, $100K a month over multiple businesses, whatever, it's something that there's a disconnect automatically because it's not ingrained. The system that we grow up in, which is America. America's a system, a very, some will say it's oiled and some will say it's rusty, but it is a machine no matter what. And, everyone has a role to play still within this machine. And for the majority, they don't get to see life on this side.
Correct.
Being an entrepreneur, but they also don't get to deal with entrepreneurial risks and things.
Yes.
And so, it always comes to a conversation of when you teach people, because I used to battle this myself.
Yeah.
Because I used to teach a lot too in business coaching. I do business analytical stuff now, but some of my students make $80K a month, $100K a month, whatever. But should everybody be an entrepreneur?
Great question. I don't think that everyone's cut out for it.
Me either.
I really don't. Because, I'm blessed. My husband's also an entrepreneur and he has that same mindset as I do. So our dinner table conversations are entirely different than my ex-husband who was not. And that's not why, things ended. But it changes things.
It does.
It really changes things. The way you raise your kids, the way you think about money, the way you handle ups and downs, risk tolerance. It really, really helps to have somebody who's on your side, on your team, who gets it. And a lot of my friends, they are not cut out to be entrepreneurs. And I can love them for where they're at and
100%.
that they love their stability and all that amazing stuff. That's great. And they will look at me and say, oh my gosh, I could never even imagine making that money. And it's just like, The only thing stopping people is what's between their two ears.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally all you. You can do, it sounds stupid. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, but you can.
You can.
You
And that's the
can.
hardest part to get across is it sounds crazy, but you really can.
You can. So no, I do not think everyone's cut out for it, because I think that people are not willing to get over their mindset. I think that a lot of people are scared of making money.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of people are bad stewards of money. I don't think a lot of people should be wealthy, because I think that when you're a bad steward of $10, you're going to be a bad steward of 10 million. I don't think people deserve to sometimes make that money. Like you got to show that you can do good with that you're going to help people out, that you're going to, surround yourself in a community that you are going to bring everyone up with you, everyone you can, right?
Yeah.
Because what I will say is, when there's more than one crab at the bottom of the bucket, if one tries to crawl out, the other one grabs it and pulls it back in. If you surround yourself with people who say you can't, you shouldn't, you won't, you're not smart enough, strong enough, guess what? You're going to be all those things, because they're going to pull you right back down. You got to get out of that bucket, because 100%. A lot of people are stuck in a bad environment that will not allow them to become wealthy.
And so, the craziest part about that, and I'm glad you brought that analogy up, is because, there's a documentary on that. And crabs never used to pull each other down.
What? I gotta watch this.
Yeah, they never used to pull each other down. They actually pulled each other out. Oh. And as time changed over time, it became more survivalistic to where they started fighting for cells. Yeah. Versus the conglomerate of, hey, we're all here. Yeah. Let's all get out. And I feel like society's done the same thing. With entrepreneurship, with W-2s, with everything. People more so nowadays fight for self than to collaborate or work or learn something from somebody else.
Yep. It's shocking how many people don't want to give information. Everyone tries to gatekeep these days. Oh, if I give all the keys to the kingdom, then you're going to go do it better than me. Good. Yeah. I want you to do it better than me. 100%. Because guess what? You're going to teach me something that I don't know that makes my business better. So I'm all about let's all share this, because the reality is you're going to say something to a room of 100 people and not everyone's going to hear it. Not everyone's going to take action. So go say it to as many people as you can, because the right people will take it and they'll go forward.
100%. And some of the things that I've battled over time as a coach, because again, psychology. So, have you ever done the invisible gorilla test?
No.
So I don't want to spoil it for you, because I kind of want to see you do it.
Okay.
But it's a test where, I'm going to tell you anyway.
Okay, tell me.
And so basically, it's an old school test that Daniel Simons put out. Okay. And so Daniel Simons works a lot with Christopher Chavers, two big psychologists, whatever. And it's a team. One team is wearing white shirts, one team is wearing black shirts, and they're passing a ball around. Okay. And in the beginning of the video, all he asks you is to just, how many times is the ball passed? Okay. And then it ends and says, how much times did it pass? And people say, oh, this number, this number, this number. Some people get it right, some people get it wrong. But 50% of people miss a gorilla walk past on the screen while these people are passing the ball back and forth. And he's in a whole costume. Okay. And he walks straight across the screen. And people are like, what? No, that's not possible. Yeah. And they play the video back and they're like, holy shit, there's a gorilla there.
Oh my gosh.
And so the whole preface to it is, perception is not reality, where you can be looking at something and still not see the full picture of what's going on. And so he goes deeper into this with the book, and Christopher Chavers brings the more business side to it and stuff. Yeah. But what I was facing with a lot of my students in business is they couldn't see the full picture. And I'm showing them the picture. Yeah. And so I'm like, why can't you see the picture? Yeah. And that became a battle for me, because I would like to say at this time, my brain thinks a little different, because I'm thinking about the full picture. Yeah. I'm not thinking about just the ball being passed. Right. And so trying to articulate that to even an entrepreneur, they're like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. Yep. And I kind of took myself back, because I would get students that would pay, and for me, it's about making a difference in the community. That's why I started the studio, the network, everything's called Attractive Mindset. Yeah. What you put out is what you get back. And so I would get people that paid me, $6 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever. And they didn't do anything at all.
It makes you not feel good about taking
at all. And people were like, what? You're crazy? Who cares? Take the money. And I'm like, it's more moral for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to take that person's money knowing they're not going to execute on the level that they can execute or execute at all.
Yep.
And so, when you deal with students, how do you approach this kind of thing where some don't take it, where others have taken it to crazy amounts?
It is actually so difficult as a coach. And I love that you said that, because I make that like abundantly clear when I'm first selling them into our program. I'm like, hey, if you are not going to do this, do not sign up, because you're actually going to upset me and you're going to upset yourself. And none of us are going to be happy. You're going to want to leave a bad review and I'm going to want to refund you, but also I put in all the work. So it just gets frustrating for everybody. So I'm like, do not do this. But I think the biggest thing is we put so many systems in place, and I am constantly getting feedback from the people who are not doing it, who are not taking action as to why. What did I not do to help handhold you, spoon feed you, get you along the way? And then I will recreate the system to add in more so that they can be supported. There is an element of you have to be the one to do the work. We can't push a rope. That's the sucky part of being a coach, is that I can give every system in the world and you can still fail, right? It's like losing weight. We all know how to lose weight. Eat less, move more.
Yeah.
But 50% of the country's obese, because it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you do. Right? So I tell people that also. I'm like, I can't push a rope. This is up to you. I can give you all the keys, but you have to go unlock the doors. Like, this is teamwork. And so systems are the best way, but I think also setting the tone up front. And then, to be honest, I'm quick with a refund. I'm quick with a refund because I just do not I'm like, if it's not working for you, it's also not working for me. So let's just part ways. And
I don't want to deal with it.
I don't want to deal with it.
It's not worth it.
It's really not worth it. We have like 400 students per year that we coach.
Wow.
And I have a team of 15 who, help support them, but it's a lot. Like, of those 400, there's going to be a lot of people who life happens.
Yeah.
Either things happen, they get lazy, they get off the method. And it's just like, you got to go back to that why. You got to go back to that, what's your passion, what's your purpose? But it's hard as a coach. That's what you go to bed at night with, being like, damn it. Like, isn't there something more I could do? Can I go into their house and be like, come on?
Exactly. Yeah, no. Okay. So, we get to a part right now in the pod called Gem Drop.
Okay.
And so, again, some people will hear this information and still not execute.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to ask you is, what is your structure from start to finish?
Yeah.
And as simply, because I know it would normally take a lot, but in the most simple way that you can say it, of somebody starting a assisted living business.
Yep. Okay. There's 4 methods, but I'm just going to do one of them. So it makes it easy for us. So you're going to find the right demographics or area you want to be in, locate the home, purchase it, renovate it for assisted living, get the home licensed, hire your staff, market to fill the home with residents. You're up and running, cash flowing.
And so now let's break that method down even further.
Yeah.
So when you're going, most people aren't going to pay for this out of pocket.
Correct.
So how do you set that up to find the proper funding?
Yep.
And then go into proper building?
Yep.
Proper licenses, all of that stuff.
So you mentioned SBA. SBA is super friendly for these. So you can buy the real estate, you can cover the reno, the carrying cost, and FF&E, which is furniture, fixture, equipment, as well as paying yourself as the managing partner all throughout. So I love SBA for this because it can cover literally all of it.
Wow.
So a lot of people will do SBA. The second most popular way is through private money or syndications. So we have private money lists. I travel and speak about this all the time, and people say, hey, I don't want to do the business. I want to invest in your students. Okay, great. So we have that list of private money lenders. There's also a lot of people with money sitting in the bank getting 0%. And if you could offer them 10, 12% on something that impacts us all, like, we're all aging, we can't stop it.
Yeah.
So everyone can relate to this to some degree or another.
Yeah.
Money's actually not that difficult to raise on this because it's different, it's unique, and it impacts us all. So I would say SBA or private money are the 2 most popular ways.
Wow. Okay. And then now I would say one of the most important parts is staff.
Yes. So staffing. So you can put, ads out on LinkedIn and Indeed, Facebook Marketplace, different places like that. You can also work with caregiver licensing agencies to get like a fresh list of graduates, of people who just went through their training. But to be honest, this industry is very tight knit. It's about, I'd say 80% of it is run mom and pop. Meaning the owners live in the home, work in the home, do everything themselves.
Got it.
I represent kind of the other 20% who's running this as professional business owners. But in that same lieu, that 80% is almost all immigrants from other countries. So I'm also the minority in this, that there's not a lot of white girls doing this, right? It's usually people who maybe were a nurse or a doctor in their home country. They came over and that didn't translate, but they love seniors. They want to do this and they understand it. So they say, hey, I'm just going to kind of build this business around myself. So they're not really scaling. They might not be cash flowing the way that we're teaching, but it's still that same, method. So staffing, I say all that to say it's a tight knit industry. So many times if you're a caregiver working in one home, you might also have 2 or 3 other caregiving jobs. So a lot of times once you're in the industry, you kind of start to learn the staff and people share staff through the different homes.
Got it. And now from a perspective that doesn't typically get talked about, how often do you have meetings? How often do you have breakdowns? Are you the one teaching them up front when they first come in? Like, do you do bonuses? Like,
Good
how
question.
is your actual staff retention?
Yeah, good question. In a big box facility, staff retention is about 100 days.
Wow.
Terrible. In our facilities, it's about 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
huge difference.
Huge difference.
Well, also they're getting, it's terrible. I could trash on the big boxes all day, you guys. It's really bad. But, in our homes, once you're hiring them, they're coming in licensed. And I really like to hire people who have 1 to 3 years worth of experience, because if it's your first day caregiving and you have to wipe someone's bum, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a lot.
You might not want to continue.
You might not want to come back the next day. So 1 to 3 years is really kind of a good time frame. I have them do 4 days working on the floor so I can see how they are with the seniors or the other staff and really see that they're a good fit. But once they've been onboarded, we still do onboarding for my home, my culture, what I want in this home, because you might be trained, but you're not trained on our ways of doing things. So then, and when I say me, none of this is me. It's all my administrator. She's doing all of it, but she does that onboarding with them and that training with them in the house so that they know our methodology. Then we'll do a 30-day review, 60-day review, and kind of go on until it's like their first quarter's done. And it's like, okay, great. You're in the system. You get it. I do a weekly meeting with my licensed administrator. So once a week we get on Zoom or a phone call, whichever, and we do about a 2-hour meeting, and it's super structured. So she's giving me move-ins, move-outs, any tours she has or plans for marketing, any people who were fired or hired or interviews she has, any issues they have, holidays that are coming up. I mean, we're just going boom, 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 boom.
Checking it off the list.
So I'm just getting basically a report of everything that's going on. And then I'm kind of giving her like yay or nay for certain things. Okay, great, moving on. The rest of my 5 hours a week is spent like looking over the numbers, looking over social, looking over whatever, and that's about it, right? I don't have to spend a ton of time on the business because we set up those systems in the beginning.
What's up? My name is Lee Patterson. I need you guys to go ahead and join my free community by clicking the link below. I also will be giving away tickets to my 5-day challenge where I'll be teaching you how to clean your credit, fund your business, as well as start you in an LLC if you do not have one. Go ahead and get your tickets below and join my community. I'll see you on the inside.
Got it.
So once they've been onboarded, then we do that 30, 60, 90. That's great. But that, I would say a team meeting is happening once a month. That's pretty normal. I do give bonuses. If you show up, it's $50 because I want them to show up, right? And when they come, we usually have snacks, Starbucks, food, whatever. We'll give them something because it's time out of their day. And
100%.
I get it. They've got kids, they've got lives, they've got a bunch of stuff going on. So I want them to show. And then even sometimes throughout the meetings, we'll do like a little, hey, what's Dan's favorite game? And whoever can name it first, I'll be like, great. And here's a gift card to wherever. And we'll do like gift cards based on the seniors and getting to know the seniors because I want the caregivers to love on the seniors and respect them. So the more you know them, the more I want to love on you.
100%.
We also do bonuses for if we're doing a new tour with families. If we lock in that tour, I'll give the administrator $500 and I'll give all the caregivers who are on shift that day another $50.
Wow.
Because they're part of it, right? If you were a
100%.
smiling caregiver, that probably made the family say,
Feel comfortable.
yes. So I want to benefit you for that because I don't want you to be like in a bad mood and now we don't get the move in, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's important. They're a part of that process and they're the ones who are going to be working with the seniors. So I want them to feel a part of that. So bonuses for a lot of different things, but meetings, move-ins, tours, holidays, birthdays, you know, all the usual. Yeah.
Wow. No, this was informative. You know, we've had so many people in real estate come on here.
Yeah.
And this is the first conversation about this kind of real estate.
Yeah.
And this excites me.
Yeah.
Because you literally don't know what you don't know. Like, I'm great in my field of stuff. We've done millions in my industry, but you just open a whole new door to me.
There you go.
And I'm like, man, you know, there's so many different ways to make money in this world. And especially now in the digital age that, you know, access to information. Yeah. This is a free podcast that's on YouTube. Yeah. You know, people are going to watch this, but what you do with certain information is what takes you to the next level. And why I like having the podcast like this way, you know, one of the messages that I talk about the most is there was this lady from Istanbul, and she sent a message and she was like, hey, I watched your episode with so-and-so and I have the same business as him, but mine's not going well. And I literally was about to turn in my keys and shut down. Yeah. And then I heard his story about how he was about to do that. And I see what he's doing now. And she's like, you know, it kept me going. And she's like, it's been a month and a half. And I took some of the advice that he gave on the podcast and, you know, I'm making money now and I'm doing better. And so she was like, you know, if you're ever out here, coffee on me. And she sent a picture with her holding coffee. And so like moments like that, like where it's just one person, you know, I'm not focused on trying to change the entire world. No. But if we can speak to one person, I feel like these conversations are good because I learned something. Yeah. And so I know they'll definitely learn something, but man, Isabelle, this was great. I'm glad that you're doing this and sharing everything. And so if people wanted to learn more about this, you know, maybe even get coached by you, where could they find you at? Yeah, we're on all forms of social media at RAL Academy. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we're there having fun. So social is a great way. And then we've got free webinars, free books. You can schedule a call with me or the team at ral101.com. There it is. Wow. Isabelle, thank you so much for coming to the studio. And is there anything that you want to leave them with?
You know, our company motto is to do good and do well. So I'll leave you with that. You know, this is
do good and do well.
Yes, I love it.
Absolutely. And so again, this is another episode of Attractive Mindset. It's your host, Mastermind Rich. And at the end of the day, we always say we look good, we live good, life is good. Talk to us. We talk back and we're out.